soon as we're live. There we go. Okay. It is Friday, May 3rd, 2024 at 4:12 p.m. Central Daylight Time. And here we are in Fallout 76. So, stream's a little early this week. Actually, it's about 12 minutes past 2 hours early. I was originally intending for this to be about 4 o'clock. I got some other obligations this evening I got to take care of, so we're doing this now. So basically, I'm just going to give you a quick update on current plans and stuff like that. Hey, a lot of mercy. Good to see you. Hope you've been having a good week. And have a good weekend coming up. But anyway, and basically just talk about the general Fallout series review production, how that stuff's going. So, eggs are hatching. I was wondering what that noise was. Anyway, wow, a lot of hatchlings. Okay. Anyway, so the second episode's review is out currently. There are 6 more episodes, obviously, and I'm also going to do a general overview of the show at that point. And I'm racking things up to put in that thing over time. Just for example, I'm not going to talk about it just now, but there is a massive issue with the first episode that doesn't really make itself apparent until the 8th episode. But anyway, we'll talk about that then. There's other episodes that, you know, again, there are little scenes here and there that have issues that are raised by later scenes and stuff like that. One real quick thing I would do want to say about the Fallout series in general. Can I walk across this? Let's see. Yeah. One of the things in general that I've noticed is that you really can't take like a real accounting of where the locations are. And I went into this a little bit in the second episode review. Specifically when I covered the fact that they were traveling south from Philly to go past LAX, at least based on the location of the control tower compared to the terminal there, because LAX has a very iconic terminal building. And looking at it on the map, I can tell that the control tower is on the west side of the structure, that iconic structure, which means that when they're walking past it and the control tower is on the left side of it, that means that they're walking south. Which means I don't understand exactly how that makes any sense when you consider that their eventual destination is the Griffith Observatory, which is northeast of LAX. And then beyond that, like, I've seen some speculation that LA was not actually the original setting that they were probably going to set it in, that they're potentially going to set it somewhere like New York, which honestly makes a little bit more sense to me, just given the fact that almost everything else Bethesda has made Fallout, or like, you know, that Bethesda has had like direct control over, which they seem to have had pretty direct control over a lot of this stuff. Basically takes place on the East Coast, and they've generally left the West Coast alone, which makes sense as to why they would then film in places like New York and New Jersey and stuff like that. And along with that, it would be halfway in between Boston and the Capital Wasteland. So again, they would basically be kind of on their home turf and have like a better control over things that have happened around there. And really specifically what I'm talking about in terms of this affecting the setting comes with, can I step out? Nope, can't step on that. Comes with the river that Lucy walks up to that she loses the head to the Gulper in. And like I've been looking over the map of LA, and there's nowhere that matches. And obviously the river itself is full of ruins. And so obviously we're talking about a river that has risen or something like that, or a reservoir that has risen. But the closest other landmark that they have to that is a Exit 12A Hollywood Boulevard sign. And I'll talk about it more when I come to the episode 3 review, but basically this location is completely fictional, and if there was a river there, it would mean that the entire LA basin was flooded. So again, the whole point of this is simply to say that I don't think that you can really set any stock by anything you see in the background when they're traveling as a way to help you determine where the locations are. Like, some of them are quite obvious. Griffith Observatory is a well-known landmark. So when you see things taking place there, you can say, yes, that happened there. But I don't think that you can assume anything else from anywhere else you see them traveling. Specifically as well, when she's walking up the coast, and I talked about this in the last episode review a little bit. Those are locations in Namibia, and the entire time she's traveling north along that coastline, when again Vault 33 is said to be somewhere near, or not said to be, it looks to be very, very close to the Santa Monica Pier, because that's in the background when she comes out of the vault. And with that being said, again, she heads north along the coast, but there's not that much coastline in between Santa Monica and the Santa Monica Mountains. And again, I don't know. She's then seen walking south past LAX. So I don't know. LAX is south of the Santa Monica Pier. So again, I don't think that you can take any sort of locational information from the background seriously with that stuff. I think it's kind of just like generally supposed to be kind of like wasteland background sort of a thing. Anyway. So again, working on the third episode review. I'm hoping to have that thing out by Monday. These things took significantly longer than they did. I don't know if any of you watched the first episode review, but I said hopefully I'll have the second one in a few days because I figured out the format. No, it takes a long time, because basically what I'm always doing is I'm writing up a complete plot summary along with all the dialogue I think is important. Not because I'm even expecting to actually use that stuff specifically in the review, but so that I have that information for later. Because there's going to be multiple seasons of the show, at least 2 so far. And so I want to have this kind of thing where I can then go back and reference it anytime I need to. So I can like look up lines and stuff like that. And so yeah, it's a time-consuming process. But I'm about halfway through episode 3 at the moment, but now we're getting to the weekend, so I'll have more time to work on that stuff, because I do work an 8-hour job every day of the week. So anyway, along with that, though, I'm trying to figure out exactly what I'm going to do, because the massive expansion to Fallout 76 seems like it's coming relatively soon. I don't know the exact date on that, but along with that, I know that there's a massive patch coming to Starfield, and I'm going to want to inspect exactly what comes with that as well. I know, for example, that they're bringing land vehicles. I don't know if that's coming with this patch or not. I think it is. And along with that, I know they're updating the surface maps to make them better and everything like that, so it'll be interesting to see all the changes that come with that stuff. Yeah, if you're unaware of what the Fallout 76 big old patch that's coming is, it's specifically that there's going to be a new area added to the map south of the current map of Appalachia. I think it's called, like, Skyland Valley, or I don't know, something like that. And the whole thing with that is that, it's supposed to be adding a whole new story to it and stuff like that. I know I saw, for example, that there was a tweet coming out saying that the main story part of the public test server is now live on in that Skyland Valley. Or again, I don't remember the exact name of it. It's something like that. So it's going to be really interesting to see exactly where they go, because this sounds like this is the next big thing in terms of, like, they've added little side bits of content here and there in terms of, like, the Nuka World on Parade and stuff like that. And they've obviously also added things like the expeditions, but this seems like the next big thing to really come since Broken Steel. That's not the right term for that's Fallout 3's DLC. It's Steel Dawn. I can't remember I think there were technically originally 3 Brotherhood of Steel patches that they were going to do, and they ended up only doing 2 of them. And just basically combined the last 2. Steel Rain, that's what it's called. And that's REIGN. But yeah, so that was really the last time that we got a lot of, like, yeah, so technically speaking, when they did add the expeditions to the pit, they added the new reborn responders here. And there's a little bit more, to that. But really, in terms of, like, drastic changes overall, we got a little bit with the Blue Ridge Caravan coming in. But this seems like the first really big change happening in the world since Steel Rain. Before that, it was obviously Wastelanders and then the vanilla game. So this is the next big thing to happen with the original map. So it'll be really interesting to see exactly what we get out of that. I'm really hopeful for some sort of Enclave content. I've specifically stayed away from any sort of spoilers or anything like that anyone has. So we'll see, though. Along with that, I've got a huge backlog of work to do with Fallout 76. Specifically, the new locations. I need to talk about them because I've actually created... before they came in, I got footage of these areas beforehand. Forward Station Tango, Oregon Cave, Settlers Ridge. I feel like there's 1 or 2 more, but I can't remember them off the top of my head. That one, the Coop. That may have been it, actually, because there are just multiple locations to enter Organ Cave. I've been into Organ Cave. I found the new piece of lore that's in there. Not really anything too interesting. And yeah, the Blue Ridge Bunkhouse. So it's all this stuff that they added right in here. So anyway, I do need to cover all those. Along with that, there are updated locations that, again, I didn't even realize were updated until I started working on other new lore videos, specifically spots like the Sacramento Glade, which, yeah, there's an event there that's been there since the Blue Ridge Caravan update took place. I can't remember what that's actually called specifically. But yeah, so that's a new event that takes place there with the Mothman cult, where you have to sacrifice a big animal, like a giant turtle thing or something like that. I've seen it before, and I didn't even realize it was related to that event. So I will definitely have to come back and cover that stuff. Now, along with that, I'm also getting behind on the other Fallouts as well, because I've specifically been making these videos on the Fallout TV series. But the thing about that is it's basically a finite event sort of a thing with that, where once I cover it with these 9 videos that I'm going to do total on the Fallout television series for the first season, I'm done covering that, and I can go back to covering other things and get into that. And along with that, I do have to say that I've seen a massive bump to my channel within the past few weeks thanks to the Fallout television series, and I really do appreciate the people at Prime and Bethesda for having made that happen. Specifically, my my Vault 111 video got double the number of its views that it got in the first couple of years within the past couple of weeks. It was originally at like 7,000 views, and it's up to something like 21,000 or something like that. So it's been nice. I've also gotten like another 10% of my subscribers in the past few weeks. So anyway, again, thank you to Amazon Prime and to Bethesda for making that happen. Okay, so yeah, still need to cover the Gunners in Fallout 4. Still need to cover the Metro in Fallout 3. I have not forgotten about that. I have not made any progress on the website. Again, I'm going to be looking for a website builder. If anybody actually has any recommendations for that, again, the only thing I've looked into so far has been Squarespace, and that one does not work for my needs. So again, if you know of a good website builder for video content specifically, that's what I'm looking for. Because again, it's something where it's like I could build this thing if I were to stop making videos, but I don't want to stop making videos. And right now, as much as it seems like making a television series to be a quick thing, it is not. Even after finishing the script, it still took me like 8 hours to put that video together just by taking screenshots of the episode. Billy Lochner Jr., welcome to the stream. I am currently playing on PC. This is in a Fallout world, if you're wondering why I can jump so high. I've set my jump height to really high, and I make it so I don't get any fall damage as well. Along with that, this character has marsupials, so he actually jumps even higher than you would jump normally with a Fallout world that allows you to jump really high. And along with that, because I specifically use this one for filming, it's always sunny, at least when it's daytime, and take almost no damage in combat, so that I can basically kill enemies in a location, film it, and be done, rather than the normal public adventure version where it would be a whole thing where I'm like truly expending a whole bunch of ammunition, potentially dying. So not that actually I don't think I actually was dying all that much the last time I was playing through the public adventure server, but anyway. It's definitely way easier to film when I also don't have people going by in the background in weird clothes and stuff, so. I don't know, people have asked a recommendation on whether or not Fallout First is worth it. It absolutely is for me, but I don't know if the average individual would find it to be worth it to them. I mean, it definitely has its benefits to it. Specifically, again, I've set up this world to be exactly what I need it to be for filming, you can also do all kinds of stuff with it in terms of interesting stuff. Specifically with like camp building, it also is free for me to build camps here. Not free to build camps, but when I'm in the camp, I can build things for free. Now, I do still have to have the recipes for them, but so long as I have the recipe, it doesn't take anything. I can show you that real quick, actually. Let's go up to the camp up here. Fallout New Vegas, still need to cover RepCon. And then Starfield, I'm going to do a video on New Atlantis. My hope is that with this massive patch that's coming to Starfield in the middle of May, that Starfield's going to start to get a boom again. And at that point, people might start to get interested in lore videos in Starfield again. Because my very first video on Starfield, my very first lore video on Starfield is still the biggest video on my channel with 180,000 plus views on it. And the ones I made after that got successively fewer and fewer. And so it's like, even though I would spend something like 2 weeks straight working like at least, 2-hour days to sometimes 8-hour days on a video, it's like 300 views total. It's like, oh, good. And it's one of those things where it's like, no, I'm doing this because I enjoy doing it. It's not like I'm making a huge amount of money doing this anyway. Basically, so far, the hobby basically pays for itself at the moment. But it is one of those things where it's like, it is nice to get a good return on your investment. And again, a couple hundred views for hundreds of hours of work, probably about 100 hours of work, is not a very good one. Not a very good review. Okay, good trade, I guess would be the way to put it. Okay, so again, in terms of building stuff, so like, let's go over to... Well, anything here, you see this where it says on the right, Enclave Roof Variant 1 of 3, free. All of them are free to build, again, so long as I have the recipes. And along with that, again, if you're somebody who typically buys things from the Atomic Shop anyway, like buys atoms, then Fallout First is probably the right way to go, because it gives you atoms along with that, and then also you can get the free stuff for Fallout First. I will say that the one part of Fallout First that I'm not a terribly big fan of is the fact that there's still stuff to pay in the Fallout First section. Now, I guess this technically means that Fallout First people have access to these things that other people don't, but at the same time, it's one of those things where it's like, I thought that when I paid for Fallout First, I would be getting this kind of stuff, but instead you get like little things here or there, like the Brother to Steel camouflage infantry uniform and stuff like that, so... Anyway, though, that's about it. That's about what I have to say on Fallout First for the moment. Interesting little things here like this. I like that thing, but anyway. So in terms of other things that are coming up, again, hoping to have the Fallout series episode 3 review done Monday, and I'm hoping to get the rest of them out every 7 to 10 days after that. So, like I was telling my patrons on Patreon, it should be another 7 to 10 weeks, and that was from Monday until I'm done. So at this point, 6 to 9 weeks until I'm completely done covering the Fallout series, again, for the first season. Really looking forward to seeing what they do with the second season. Although, again, it's one of those things where I really enjoyed watching it the first time through, and watching it through again, I find these mistakes that they've made here and there, or some plot errors and stuff like that, where it doesn't ruin the show, but it definitely takes away from it at times. So, anyway, anybody have any questions, any comments, any suggestions? Again, there's other videos that I still have to make as well. Seven, for example, has requested that I make basically the story of Fallout in 10 minutes video, like I did the story of Fallout 76. And this wouldn't be the story of the game Fallout, the original Fallout, but simply a way to introduce people to the Fallout universe. So it would be a broad strokes overview of the timeline, talking about like the culture of the world, what happened to the bombs, all that kind of stuff. It's still one of my favorite bugs when this kind of stuff happens. When it's just molehill sticking in there in the middle of the air. So that's definitely something I'm also going to be looking to do. So, and that'll also, the bigger part of that is going to be basically timeline sort of stuff, where it's like what was going on before the war, when the war happened, when the games took place after the war, all that kind of stuff. So, let's see. Anything else? I don't know. I feel like I've covered most of the things that I needed to talk about. The funny thing about doing these episodes of reviewing the series is that I just don't have as much to talk about in the games, because, again, this is stuff where it's like everyone's viewed it. It's not like the games where it's like with 76, so many people missed the fact that there was a proper story to it the first time around, which is why I started making the Fallout videos and lore videos in the first place. Was people were like, oh, there's no story to that. It's like, there's a massive story. You just have to actually look for it. It's not, because there aren't NPCs on the surface, NPCs to talk to, I mean. The the story is definitely not a surface level thing. You've really got to dig into it and read the notes and the computers. And honestly, I get that a lot of people just don't have the time for that kind of thing. But that's better for me because I like telling these kind of stories, and it's interesting to kind of put the whole things together. So anyway, though, again, doesn't seem to be much interest at the moment. So I think unless anybody has any comments or questions, I think I'm just going to probably close things out here and get back to work, and then take care of the things I got to this evening, and then get really back onto it tomorrow. And hopefully, again, have that next episode review ready to go by Monday. And other than that, I hope all y'all have a good weekend, and I will see you all next time.